You do not know the way.
Do you know the way?
You have to have Ebola to know the way.
Gone are the days of SDTV. HDMI click. HDMI click.
This is freaking stupid! Curse you!
You're a beta male, Sonic.
That's no good.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
You want to watch Sonic? Sure, why not? Well, Chris, much like the horrors that plague our reality, we continue to endure, with occasional bright spots to break up that horror. And those bright spots are why we keep coming back, time and time again, for this video series, which has basically just become the Sonic Media Analysis Hour.
Because as we all know, each piece of Sonic media needs extreme analysis and in-depth discussion, the way God intended.
Yeah, you know, well, it's either this or, you know, one of those clickbait videos with all the arrows and circles saying, here's a detail you missed and pointing to a dust speck.
We could do that as the thumbnail if you want.
No. No, we're better than that.
Are we? Are we better than that? So anyway, what you think of the movie?
Oh, man. Sonic 3. Well, Sonic the Hedgehog, really. The little film franchise that could.
The most surprising success story of this decade, easily.
Yep. You told me back in 2019 that in the span of 5 years, we would get a Sonic trilogy, a spin-off TV series, and the movies would get better as they went along. I don't know if I would have believed you.
I definitely would have called you absolutely batshit crazy, like no questions asked.
Remember, this is before they officially revealed the Sonic redesign.
Well, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? They never did a Sonic redesign. There was always just the cute little Sonic that we have in the movies right now. There was no hideous abomination to speak of that they were originally going to go with and cause the studio shutdown.
Hey, all I know is if you look online in the right places, you can still find that trailer.
We call those places the dark web, Max. We don't go there. We don't go there.
But anyway, so this franchise, yeah, it's gotten better. It's officially, as of this recording, a $1 billion movie franchise.
Again, imagine saying that 6 years ago. Imagine saying, hey, by the way, Sonic 3 is going to be more hyped up than a Lion King movie.
That Sonic 3 is going to be arguably the best video game movie of all time.
That is the universe we're living in. I don't know if I like it, but I do appreciate it.
Hey, you know, I like some surprises every so often. So we're obviously a bit late on this review, but in our defense, we did go see this on opening day, but as we were both on the East Coast and didn't have access to our film equipment and this lovely set,
we can't film anything without this poster behind us. It's
we
long now.
felt prudent to wait until we had reconvened.
Yeah, it makes sense. And plus, we had to gather our thoughts for a long time because this is the greatest cinematic achievement of our era, and it needs to be discussed as such.
It is the most hyped I've felt watching a blockbuster since maybe Endgame.
As insane as that sounds, I kind of agree with you.
Because other stuff has come close, but nothing that's really felt like that sheer, pure, oh my god, I am a kid loving this hype. As I did for the third act of this movie.
It really put me in my headspace of being a 7-year-old and playing Sonic the Hedgehog for the first time.
Well, Sonic Adventure 2 specifically.
Well, I played the original Sonic.
Chris, but I'm saying this movie is a loose adaptation of Sonic Adventure 2.
That is true.
Do we need to talk about the plot? You've seen the marketing. It's Shadow. He's here.
What? Shadow's here? Well, don't spoil it. People haven't seen it yet.
They've known since the post-credit scene of Sonic 2 that he was going to be here.
Yes. Also, Jim Carrey decided to come back.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Carrey.
They gave him 2 dump trucks of money this time, one for each role.
And if you looked at the credits, he was credited as a creative consultant.
That doesn't surprise me, given some of the bold choices he makes with his characters.
I'm just going to say this flat out. Jim Carrey steals the show every time, and rightfully so. He's fucking phenomenal each and every time he plays Robotnik. And it was the perfect casting choice. I don't know how much money, like you said, 2 jump trucks of money to bring him back. Make it 3 dump trucks next time, because I need to see him do this again. I'm not done with him yet.
Yes, as long as him and his relative have a really highly choreographed, I can't believe what I'm watching dance number.
Like you said, you know that was his idea.
Oh,
That was-
absolutely. And like we talked about this after we walked out. That was one time where I was watching it and all I could think is, what the fuck am I watching? But in a way that's kind of like, I kind of still like this.
I'm all for it.
Why not?
I'm all for it.
Well,
Why the hell not?
That's one thing I like about this movie, and you can thank us specifically for this, but they used a lot more music from the specific game era. So a lot more late 90s, early 2000s music.
That You're correct. That was 100% us.
100%
That was all us.
Because they start the movie, they do the race, and they play Goldfinger's cover of 99 Red Balloons, and I'm like,
I
so bad.
I completely forgot about that. That's right. They did do that.
Yeah, and the
That was
opening
great.
race number.
Yeah, that was perfect song choice.
Yep. And there's even some more actual songs. We'll get into some of them in spoilers, but one part that popped me is when Sonic wins the race and then he does the dance and it plays the Sonic Adventure level clear jingle.
Yes, I'm glad. I'm so happy to see that they finally decided to actually do more with the soundtrack than just one little piece here and there, one little thing.
A little couple notes of the Green Hills theme.
Yeah, we're gonna whet your appetite, but we're not actually gonna feed you everything that we can do.
And dance off. Have you heard about the classic '90s artist Bruno Mars?
No, I can't say that I have. Please tell me more.
We've talked a lot about Jim Carrey, but we got to give our props to the rest of the cast because this is the best usage of the human characters. This is the best usage of Sonic and company. Even Tails and Knuckles get little arcs.
And you even I can't believe I'm gonna say this about a fucking Sonic movie, but there are some points where you actually kind of feel emotional for what's happening.
Yeah.
You feel bad for what's happening on screen, and it tugs at your heartstrings. And that's zany to think about, but here we are.
Yep, you can truly say that we lived and we learned. Shadow shows up. Sonic and company are recruited by Gun to go after and track down Shadow. They don't. Spoilers. And then they have to team up with Robotnik to take on Shadow and Robotnik's grandpapa, portrayed by Jim Carrey in both fat person and old person makeup.
Again, I don't know how many nice things we can say about Jim Carrey in this review, but it's not enough. He is funny. He is clever. He's energetic. It's like Jim Carrey 20 years ago never left us. He genuinely cares. He seems to bring his A game every time he comes to set.
Would you say that Carrey cares?
That was very punny, Max. In any other movie, this probably wouldn't work, but it does here. When both Jim Carreys are talking to each other, and they're saying it's almost as if we're playing the different characters in the same movie.
Yeah.
It just works. It's just funny. There's nothing overtly cringe in the movie, which again, Sonic movie, you'd think there'd be plenty of it, but no.
Poster child of 90s edginess.
it works.
Now with the poster child of 2000s edginess.
Well, now 2020's edginess. We're way past the 2000s edginess.
But we've talked enough about Jim Carrey. Let's talk about Shadow the Hedgehog, played by one Keanu Reeves.
Oh, you say one because he was the one?
He wasn't the first thing that popped in our head when he was announced. We were like, yeah, that's great casting.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
I was, when there were rumors it was going to be Hayden Christensen, I was a little upset they didn't cast him, but Keanu, he killed it. I mean,
yeah.
Really, you can't complain at all. He portrayed Shadow exactly how I'd imagined him, basically.
Yep, there's even been interviews where they said that he did research to do a genuine portrayal of the character.
Now, what was his hardcore research?
Oh, they didn't get into that, but I just I like to think that there's a whole hard drive of alternate takes of him saying the line, "Revenge Guac."
Do you think that he actually went into the Matrix and saw 7,000 different versions of Shadow for him to play? And then he came out and he was like, this is the one, I've got it?
Well, I think what happened is our boy, the director, Jeff Fowler, sent him the opening to Shadow the Hedgehog. Which, as we pointed out, Jeff Fowler was a cinematic CG animator on the Shadow the Hedgehog video game.
I still can't get over that.
And there are references to the game in this movie, complete with him riding a motorcycle, wielding a fucking gun.
Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles their chemistry is great.
Knuckles is still the MVP in terms of comedy, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, Idris Elba just kills it every time.
Yeah, so many great lines of it. There is no such thing as a friendly ghost.
And then in the trailer, they have him talking about Pikachu, which I didn't know Pokemon existed in this universe, but I'm glad to see that it does.
Well, as some people pointed out, in the first movie, they reference Speed, which stars Keanu Reeves.
Were they foreshadowing? Or was that just a pure coincidence?
That was probably just pure coincidence.
Bullshit. I choose to believe that they knew exactly what they were doing.
Those of you who were hoping to see, Rule 34, the Bat, or the subplot of people mistaking Shadow for Sonic, which is racist, you're gonna be disappointed, but it still works regardless.
But if you're like a human who actually like wants to have a good time, you won't be disappointed.
No, this was honestly, like we were saying, one of the best movie-going experiences I had last year.
And you're saying it was the best experience or the best movie?
The best experience.
Okay, so it's the most fun you had at the theater, but you wouldn't say it's like your favorite movie?
No, it wasn't my favorite movie of last year.
But what the hell is better than it? Name one movie. Exactly, you can't. Kicked your ass.
And while I was hoping for a bit more continuity, it was sad to see that the Knuckles TV show is not referenced in the plot at least once, other than a brief cameo from our boy Wade Whipple.
I was going to say it kind of is, but not necessarily.
Well, his cameo is great.
His cameo is good.
He's definitely the least human characters besides Jim Carrey and, I guess, Agent Stone.
Yes.
But it's good usage of the Wachowskis. It's good usage of the former gun director, even though he doesn't reference Olive Garden this time.
which I'm okay with. I'm totally fine with him not doing that. I don't need to be reminded of horrible things that exist outside of a movie theater. I'm perfectly fine forgetting about this.
Yeah. And then we have like a very brief, probably on set for 1 or 2 days from Aunt Brenda and her boo thing. And that's probably the best usage of them. And best of all, they got paid.
Yes. Everybody wins.
Yep. So I guess that's really all we can talk about without getting into spoilers, because most of what we want to talk about is probably in the third act.
Yeah, I think we can get into spoilers now, right?
Okay, so
Alright.
spoilers.
Spoilers starting now.
So now that we're in spoilers, I can officially get into why the third act of this movie is one of the greatest third acts in an action IP movie of all time. And it was pure hype. We were in a theater packed with dozens of Sonomaniacs.
Yeah. I didn't realize that's what they were called, but I'm glad to hear they have an official name now, as opposed to just autistic kids.
That I remember before the movie, we were making predictions. And I predicted that we would hear Live and Learn, and you said we wouldn't hear
I was
it.
convinced we wouldn't hear it because they do so little music shit in these Sonic movies. Like, you barely hear any Sonic songs throughout any of these movies. I figured, why would it change now? But my God, you called it.
I called it, and I looked at you so fucking hyped, because prior to this, we should also talk into how, so, spoilers, Sonic gets the Master Emerald to become Super Sonic, but because his heart isn't pure, Shadow is able to kind of best him in a way and also steal a power, and then they have a full-on Dragon Ball Z fight scene.
I mean,
that is the best live-action anime fight scene in a movie.
Listen, don't insult Sonic, alright? Dragon Ball Z stole it from Sonic. Let's be real here.
Super Sonic came first, then it was the Super Saiyan.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z claims they did it first, but that's bullshit. We all know the truth.
That, because...
Ignore the fact that the timelines don't make sense for that to make sense. Fuck that. Sonic did it first.
Toriyama saw the 7 Chaos Emeralds, like 7. Seven powerful artifacts, you say. It was so hyped. Shadow and Sonic have like a understanding moment, and they decide there's only one thing they can do, and that's Brofist power up, and with one of the greatest needle drops in a movie last year.
Scorsese can suck it.
Yep.
You think his movies have good needle drops? It's all about Sonic 3, baby.
Yep, and that was one of the loudest reactions I've heard to anything in a theater in a while.
Honestly, I genuinely can't think of one that was louder. Like, the one, maybe I can think back to...
probably the post-credit scenes, but we'll talk about the post-credit scenes in a little bit.
Okay, fair.
What I just love about the third act is it just goes full-on balls to the wall, doesn't give a fuck. We have, like, the most casual death scene of a major villain in any movie I've seen in a while.
And they just brush past it like it's no big thing.
And it was fucking hilarious, too. Just a little...
a little fart in the wind, just as it was supposed to be.
Yep.
And it was perfect.
When Sonic and Shadow power up and they go to the spaceship, they're fighting the variations of the opening bosses from Sonic Adventure 2. Those little, like, mini like Mech Warrior Mad Cat kind of looking guys.
There was a lot of attention to detail in the Sonic stuff.
Yep.
That was
we got
great.
a fucking Chow Garden.
I was just about to bring that up. Thank
Like,
you.
oh my god! And it's like the best way to implement it too, without just completely derailing the plot.
It feels like a script that was written for Sonic and not a script that was written with Sonic added later.
Yeah,
there were some parts of the first movie where it was like, this could work with really any
well, the first
character.
movie was basically just like classic CGI character with real person road trip movie.
But like with that first movie, you could replace Sonic with another character,
Like
and
the
it
Easter
probably
Bunny.
like the Easter Bunny. Hence why James Marsden essentially did the same movie twice, and he got paid for the same movie twice, which is good for him. But you could replace it with any character and it would work. With this one, it is very Sonic specific. Like, it would not work without him or any of these other characters in it.
Yeah, as I spoke to one of our friends, this is a movie that is completely unashamed of being a video game movie.
And it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
It's so sincere. And that is something that is honestly missing in a lot of movies today, and especially a lot of like IP adaptation driven stuff.
Mhm.
It's missing that sincerity that it's not ashamed of like some of the stuff is stupid, but we don't care.
Yeah. Like,
Here's a talking blue hedgehog that loves chili dogs and racing and rock music.
I wish I cared about anything as much as Jeff Fowler cares about Sonic.
Well, Jeff Fowler, and let's give the writers some credit because this is the same writers for all three movies.
Is it okay? So they know what they're doing. Then.
They know what they're. I feel like this time they had way less oversight from Paramount.
I think, yeah, Paramount saw how much money the first two made and were just like, screw it, go
They're
for
like,
it.
just do whatever you want. Just don't do anything too weird. No autistic purple cat fishing for frogs.
Yet.
Yeah, we'll see.
Speaking of which, they greenlit Sonic 4 before this one even was released.
I know, so we were already like, well, there's got to be something big, and the post-credits scene did have some big stuff.
I would like to say I called it at the end of that one.
To be fair, we both technically called it because we had both different predictions for the post-credits scene.
And they were both correct.
I predicted we would get Metal Sonic.
And by the end of it, I predicted we would get Amy or Chris Chan. Either one was fine. But we got Amy, and
We
that's
got
what
the
counts.
better option.
Yeah.
And I'm not even kidding when I say I think that Amy Rose had maybe the loudest pop of the movie.
There was so many like thirsty autistic people in there that were cheering as loud as they possibly could.
To be fair, we were also cheering.
Well, that's because I'm both thirsty and autistic, but that's
Yes.
neither here nor there.
The final credit scene was just kind of whatever. It's kind of like a Shadow will return TM, which,
Well,
no shit.
It's a kid's movie. You're not gonna like kill him off.
You're not going to kill off one of the most popular characters in the fandom.
You're not gonna kill him off like you killed off Maria. All right, it's just not gonna happen. Speaking of which, that is one thing that disappointed me. We don't see Maria getting shot. What happens instead is one of the gun agents shoots like a bolt of electricity or something, and that's what seems to kill her. It's not very clear.
I don't think a major studio would let you shoot a kid in their movie.
Well, they should have. All right.
Unless it's the 70s and you're John Carpenter.
Go ahead.
All jokes aside, it is our solemn duty to inform you that we are now 3 Sonic movies and a spin-off show deep, and there's still no Jaleel White cameo.
I am so sorry to be the one to break this to you guys, but there's still hope. There's still hope.
My well in advance prediction for Sonic 4, Jaleel White will play Metal Sonic.
That would actually be so fucking based.
I don't think they'll actually do it because it's too good.
That's too good of an idea. We can't have that.
But the idea is now out there.
Here-
That and Jim Carrey playing Big the Cat.
All right, Jim. You think he's gonna play Big the Cat too? I mean, they already got
Big
the
the
fat suit
Cat,
ready.
Big the Cat in Mike Myers Cat in the Hat makeup.
I-
Like, we're going full on cast with this.
No, it's stunning to me that they haven't brought back Jaleel White, because did you hear the story of why he got the role in Family Matters in the first place?
I think you told me this, yeah.
The only reason he even auditioned for the role was because his parents told him, Jaleel, if you get this role, we will give you a Sega Genesis. And then one of the most iconic TV characters of all time came to be, because of Sonic the Hedgehog specifically. If they don't put him in as Sonic the Hedgehog at any point in this series, they fucked up so hard that they should not be forgiven.
Yep. Because as it seems to imply from the mid-credit scenes, we're not going back to Adventure 1. We're going back to Sonic CD for Sonic 4.
Yes,
That's the way it's set up, which, I'm fine with. Sonic Adventure 1 doesn't really have much of a plot.
you shut your mouth.
This isn't a spoiler, but I forgot to bring it up earlier. I just wanted to pay special mention to the telenovela that Eggman and company watched throughout the movie, because it is fucking hilarious.
It is pretty good.
about the struggles between Juan and his evil twin brother, Pablo.
Ultima Pasión can only belong to one.
No. It can only belong to Juan.
Let me ask you this. This is an important question. What was the better Arrow scene, that or the one in Megalopolis?
You know, Chris, it's really hard to compare two highly original auteur-driven works like Megalopolis and Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Do you think Sonic the Hedgehog 4 will have the subtitle Casinopolis?
Only time will tell. Like I said, I am actually hyped, and the future of the Sonic media franchise is actually looking bright.
Like, this was actually a genuinely great year for Sonic because it actually had a good game come out this year too.
Yep.
Sonic X Shadow, which is not the title of my fanfiction, is really good. Like, it's genuinely a good game. Like, we're actually getting decent Sonic games now. It seems like Sonic Team finally know what they're doing.
You can officially say that the year of Shadow was a much better success than the year of Luigi.
I feel like this was Luigi's year as well, but for totally different reasons.
So anyway,
So
what would you rate Sonic the Hedgehog 3 on the boneless scale?
on the boneless scale, well, I should preface this by saying I liked it better than 2. I'm having a tough time deciding if I liked it as much as 1. But on the boneless scale, I would say 783 coin blocks out of 183 rings.
I would just mix some franchises.
Hey, listen, man, the crossover is inevitable.
That,
It's
and
gonna
I'm still
happen.
trying to process that you think Sonic the Hedgehog 1 is better than Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Well, because it was new and fresh and exciting to see Sonic
Was
on the
it
big
new?
screen, and they replaced.
Was it fresh? Was it exciting?
Did you not like Sonic 1?
I did. I just don't think it's as good as the other two.
Well, I don't want to have like recency bias cloud my judgment here, so that's why I want to
Okay.
wait a little while.
Okay.
I definitely liked it more than 2, for sure. But I stand by my original score.
You've said your piece. You've given your score. Me personally, I would say these get better as they go along. So it's 1, then 2, then 3. Knuckles kind of falls somewhere between 1 and 2. But as far as what I would give this movie on the boneless scale, I would give it 74 death eggs out of 976.4.
0.4?
0.4. 0.4 Luft balloons.
Dude, I thought you said you liked it. That's a horrible score.
Well, what can I say, Chris? Life is full of all sorts of twists and turns. Some you can see coming, but most you can't. And then you just gotta live and learn.
We'll see you at Sonic 4, guys.
If there's still a world.
No, there won't be. We'll be long dead. We'll be long dead. The furries will have gotten us by then.